Hi, my name is Sean Galusha. I am a fourth year journalism major and intern for the College of Science and Math. Today, I am joined by Nicole Gregorio, a recent graduate with a major in biochemistry and a minor in science and risk communication from Santa Rosa, California. How's it going, Nicole?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So let's kick things off. Tell me a little bit about your undergraduate research opportunity and why it's significant to you.
Yeah, so I've been involved in undergraduate research for about 3.5, almost 4 years, basically. Now that I'm graduated, I guess I should stop counting. But I knew coming into college that research was something that I was really interested in, something that I definitely wanted to get the chance to experience. So getting the opportunity to really dive into it as deeply as I have has been just amazing and incredible opportunity for me.
That sounds awesome. You mentioned that you had a big interest in doing undergraduate research. What was it like or like you had an interest in doing research, and so you were able to come in as an undergraduate to do that. What was that opportunity like?
Yeah, so I think Cal Poly is a really special place for people who are looking to start research seriously in their undergraduate experience, because at a lot of universities, from my understanding, you won't get the same kind of in-depth experience as, like, for example, that I've gotten to have, where I have gotten to lead a project and see a project all the way through from the start of the idea to all the experimentation to publishing it and getting to presented at conferences. So getting that kind of an opportunity is really unmatched in a lot of other universities.
That's awesome. And you mentioned that you have been published and uh, that you've been able to see projects all the way through. What does it mean to be published, and how is that important to you?
Yeah, so as someone who is looking to do research as a career and possibly become a professor one day, getting to be published now is like my first taste of what it's like to contribute to the scientific community as a whole. It's really amazing to get to share your work with other people, and to get feedback on it, and also to just really get to put yourself in the like in-depth scientific discussion that's always happening in the scientific community.
That's awesome. And so you mentioned that Cal Poly is kind of unique that you get to do undergraduate research, but it's also unique in a way that you get to work with professors hands-on. What is your relationship
Definitely.
with professors that you worked with, and how did you benefit from that?
Yeah, so the opportunity to get to do research under a professor and have them be your main mentor rather than maybe getting mentored mostly by a graduate student is really great in terms of building a mentor who has gone through the whole process, especially as someone who is now going to graduate school, possibly wants to become a professor. Like, I got to create a connection with someone who has gone through all of those experiences already, and who can advise me on a path to get there. So that's really great. And on top of that, you just uh, I feel like I've gotten to create connections that will be lifelong mentors, not just someone who's helping me through these 4 years, but someone who I'll be able to reach back out to 4 years down the line and ask for advice still. So that's really great.
Yeah, that's it seems like you created a bigger bond or like a bigger memory outside of just doing research. But also, how has undergraduate research helped you with undergraduate or with graduate school and applying to internships as well?
So getting to do undergraduate research since my first year um, means that I had a lot of experience when I got to apply to internships last summer. So you just have a lot of skills that you've developed over your time doing research that you can't just get from doing labs for your classes, and that's something that you can bring to the table when you're in an interview or when you're applying to graduate school and you already have, you know, hours and hours of experience doing laboratory techniques, and you know what the process of doing research is like. It's a lot of ups and downs, and getting to experience that early on kind of sets the expectation for what it's going to be like down the road.
Hmm. What are some of these skills other than laboratory techniques and actual hands-on stuff?
Yeah, so a lot of it is like soft skills in a way. Definitely, I feel like I've gotten to experience creating really strong team, like team bonds and getting to understand what it's like to work with people on a really serious project that takes like place over the course of many months rather than just like a couple weeks in a class. And some of the greatest things I've gained from doing research are really great connections with colleagues and friends that we've just bonded a lot through the research experience. On top of that, I think it's a lot of learning how to deal with failure or at least failed experiments. That's really common, happens all the time in science. It has nothing to do with your personal skills or self-worth most of the time. Like, you know, you might have done everything you possibly could to get an experiment to work and it still doesn't work, and it might not work for a couple months. And then when you finally figure it out, it's really, really rewarding. And getting to know that part of science, that side of science early on, I think is something that prepares you to have the resilience to keep doing that over and over.
Yeah, it definitely is a very large part of like growth in your personal self as well. So you are one of the 400 students who do full-time research every summer, known as the Frost Summer Undergraduate Research Program. What have you gained from being a part of this group in this organization?
Yeah, so when I first started undergraduate research during the school year, I think I knew I was interested in it and I wanted to try it out more. And I still really liked it after doing it for like a quarter or two. But then I decided that I also wanted to do it full time for a summer because I had never gotten to experience what it was like to be in lab 8 hours a day and to have my research be the main thing I was doing rather than just an extra thing I was doing on top of my classwork. um, and that experience was really rewarding because you get to make a lot more progress on the question that you're asking and the information you're trying to understand when you get to commit that much time to it. And I think that gives a much more like well-rounded understanding of what it's like to pursue a career in research.
That's awesome. It is just like so much more real, and like you're actually doing work that is going to become something one day too as well, which is awesome. So you mentioned that you are interested in doing grad school and becoming a professor. Can you tell us a little bit about what that future looks like for you and what your plans are coming up?
Yeah, so I'm headed to a graduate program at the University of Washington in Seattle starting this fall. I'll be pursuing a PhD in bioengineering. Um, I'm really, really excited for it to get to explore a new area of research and just learn more broadly about like how my research can influence the medical field and result in like clinically relevant like a clinically relevant understanding of science. Um, so I'm really excited for that. Down the line past that, it's kind of up in the air obviously right now, but I'll probably pursue a postdoc, which is just more lab experience after grad school, working under a professor, but at like a higher level. And then hopefully look for a faculty position somewhere. Yeah, but I'm really excited. I think part of the reason I had a science and risk communication minor at Cal Poly was because I'm really passionate about science communication and communicating scientific findings to the general public so that they can understand what's happening in the scientific field rather than just being bombarded with pseudoscience or not being able to understand how scientists are talking to each other. And that's something that is really important to me and something that as a person who is committing their career to research is something that I wanted to develop alongside my scientific literacy is just my ability to communicate that to normal people. And so I think that part of the reason I'm interested in becoming a professor is because I hope that I can instill that commitment to communicating science to the general public in the future generation of scientists. I think it's something that should be part of our curriculum and not just an extra side thought that we might pursue.
Yeah, that seems very pertinent to our times right now. So the last question is, can you share something with us about like maybe the most memorable experience that you had in research that future participants can look forward to?
That's a good question. I don't know, maybe I haven't thought about this so concretely. I think one of the the craziest times I've had in the lab was when we were actually collecting the data that was going to go into the main paper that came away from our research publication. And we were just spending, like many hours a week, but we had planned out our experiments like really in depth. We had all the materials we needed. We had a big calendar set up, and we come to lab and just crank out the experiments together. And working with my team through that was really, really awesome. Like I said before, I made some really great friends during research, and I was really lucky to get to work with them when I was in lab 10 hours a week. Like we were there together. And I think that was a really great bonding experience, but also a great learning experience. So I think that's probably at the top of my list for that.
Sounds like you made some of your like best memories through research as well. Well, thank you, Nicole, for joining us today and sharing your experience with undergraduate research here at Cal Poly's College of Science and Mathematics. For our audience, you can find more specific information about the college's programs and the links below, and I hope everyone has a great rest of their day.